Hey folks, it's Eko here. One of my favorite things to do is to celebrate the incredible builds on my community server. In Season 14, we did something unique where we had 3 starting teams, each building horde bases to compete for the Day 7 horde. That kickoff was a teaser of what was to come this season, as we had some of the most insane bases that I have yet to see on the server. Sit back and enjoy Season 14. First up, we have the Hybernal Echos, designed by Lex and Bud. The design of this one was partially inspired by the red team's base that we'll get to later in the video. This is a combined horde and crafting base. You've got stairs and ladders that bring you up to a central fighting position. In addition to this melee position, there's also range slots on the side where you can shoot in at an angle. Across from the horde side, you have the crafting and living space, and they made this so very cozy. I love the big windows to be able to look out into the snow biome. It's also one of the reasons this is my favorite biome to build in. And as we wander through the bases, you'll see plushies and other decorations about. Those are largely contributed through our community member, LittleRedSonja. I'll link all of her stuff below. Her incredible mods breathed a lot of life into this season. From the bedroom window here, you can see a grocery and garden that we're going to go through in just a minute. I really love looking through these builds and seeing all the attention to detail in here. The plants, the hanging plants, the placement of the chairs and whatnot. And the real marvel to this space is that they designed the entire thing after my logo, which is really an incredible homage, so thank you so much Lex and Bud for that incredible build. But they didn't stop there, they also added this gorgeous little garden on the side. I really appreciate the intricate window work, and then the moss hanging everywhere just really makes it. That's a characteristic I saw a lot in this season. But this houses all the farming you could ever possibly need for your base. And then right across from here, you've got a place to sell all your goods. So Lex has got a grocery store here where you've got vending machines set up so members of the community can come by and buy what they need. They did a great job of covering up those vending machines to make them look kind of unique. In the back side of the store, you've got this little cook station for people to come and hang out with a pergola. And all of this sits with a beautiful backdrop of the snowy mountains behind you. Next up, we have the Eko Octagon, which inspired the prior base. The red team's base was designed by Jinx Ginger and Red Knight, and there are multiple paths that lead up to the central fighting position. And one of the huge advantages of this is that there's open doors on the side that allows additional players to hang out there and shoot as the zombies are approaching the main fighting position. Once they make their way up into the central walkway, they're going to have a host of little jumping puzzles while they're going through electric fences. There's bays on the left and the right side of this. The left side is a melee position, the right side of this is an additional ranged fighting position. And when they get to the end, there's a set of double doors here that can be dropped just in case the zombies actually make it to the door. Here you can see the other angle on the melee fighting position, where you can just kind of bonk the zombies as they're running by. And finally, as you zoom out, you will again see this incredible homage to the Eko logo, so thank you Jinx Ginger and Red Knight for the outstanding build. The Calico Temple. Long ago, there was an ancient golden tablet that protected these 3 pyramids. One day, while our ancient ancestors were visiting the temple, the tablet went missing. Since then, our family has been deemed responsible and must protect the pyramids from the living dead. Without this tablet, the pyramids have no way to protect themselves, and if the pyramids crumble, it is said that so does everything else. So here our family stays, defenders of the pyramids, waiting for our golden tablet to return. This massive compound, created by Shy Cat and supported by Catherine Crystal 93, houses 3 pyramids, 2 of which are living and crafting spaces, and then you have a central horde space. The entire compound is surrounded by a moat filled with iron spikes as well as blade traps. There are 2 paths across the moat bringing you to the central horde base. You will cross across a series of vault doors on either side, walk down the plank area here, and then you're going to have a series of ramps that go up. You'll notice as we approach there's an electric fence and then trigger plates which turn on the dart traps above us. When the zombie reaches the top of the ramp, they will hit the fighting position where they will hold off the undead. The Purple Stronghold, designed by Drist was the Day 7 Horde base for Team Purple. This base was designed with a ton of redundancy, and it's got ladders as well as ramps leading up to the fighting positions. While the zombies are making their way up the ladders, there are bays at the side where you can shoot the zombies as they path around to the melee positions. Once they head that way, there's 4 switchable positions that can be turned on and off that shut or open the doors there. There's electric fences that go across the melee positions. With 4 separate fighting positions, this allows you either to have redundancy if one fails, or just to house more people at the base. Additionally, all the electronics are held in closets so that they're safe from cop spit and other things like that. Again, kudos to Drist on an amazing base. Deadton Abbey, designed by Churl and Khalsa, is a nod to the good old manor life. The size and level of detail on this build made it hard for me to capture everything, so I'm going to do my absolute best. But they've got this whole exterior around the building. They've got a garage. They've got these gorgeous little gardens and nooks on the side with benches. Everywhere I looked, there was just more and more detail and something else to find. Like this little chapel nestled right in front of us. In particular, I love the lanterns and then the wood beams on the inside of that. One of the biggest challenges on 7 Days to Die is to nail the painting, and they got that one really well. On this side of the house, you've got all these just wide open windows, and we'll see more of this as we go in. On the right side, you've got kind of this octagonal tower of windows with a table at the bottom, and I love seeing how the light plays off of it coming through the trees and then filtering through. There's a courtyard in the center of the whole manor, and then we get into the inside. And this is where the detail just gets crazier and crazier, from the floor designs to the lighting, which really gives this kind of dark and ominous feel to the whole setup. Even the simple hallways moving from area to area have fine detail all throughout them. They've got a game room in the back here with couches and pool tables. Here's another just foyer into the house. When we were looking at the manor from the back left side, this is the garden that's housed inside all that wall of windows. And then even once you get underneath, they've got kitchens and stuff like that nooked away here with small little rooms and crafting areas. This was overall a stunning and gorgeous build to check out. Great work, Churl and Khalsa. Let me know when you're taking visitors. Jutra had started to put together what I can only call a small city, and in it she had individual little homes, and within those, Drist and Benu went in and decorated one of them, so this is kind of the end result. Again, we've got a lot of the plushies, but they really took to adding all the lighting and the detail to bring to life the inside. I'm fairly certain when they started off it was mostly just concrete on the inside, so they added in all the detail and life to just really make this thing pop. Thematically this season we had quite a lot of just cozy builds that are more about the aesthetics than they are necessarily being horde bases. So moving on from the kitchen, we've got a little kind of book and reading section here with a window looking outside. And if you're seeing a lot of parts and pieces that aren't normally craftable on my servers, I have a means where you can buy some of the things that are typically POI only to be able to make builds more interesting looking. Here's the bedroom and the upstairs, and we've got a nicely decorated bathroom. And then finally, we've got the exterior seating area here with a small garden, some picnic benches and things like that. The Witchy Wicky Treehouse by LittleRedSonja is something straight out of a fairy tale novel. She's done an incredible job of leveraging these twisted trees with iron rods around them to create this just creepy ambiance. There's the main house of the base, and then on the backside you can see the pumpkin up into a second tree. We'll get up to there in a second, with garden at the bottom. There's a ladder that leads up into the base, and then there's several kind of wings once you get in here. In one side, you've got this fireplace and all the crafting areas kind of hidden behind there, aka the Witch Laboratory. Next to that, she has the Impossible Library, which is 2 stories. There's a bottom floor and then there's a top floor that is a circular type of library, with clearly some dark ritual type stuff going on here. There's a cozy little bedroom here, and I like all the details. She's got the plushies here, but she's also got the plants hanging from the ceiling and throughout. She also did a stunning job of using moss throughout this build, and then we have the magical path here that leads across to this pumpkin on yet another tree with floating candles. Inside of this, she has one of my little Echo shrines in here, and if you want to add that or any of the Echo posters that you see in this to your builds, I've got a mod out called the Eko Forge that allows you to do that. Incredible build by LittleRedSonja. Also, please go and check out her mods. I'll link those in the description. The Broodmother, designed by Bud and Dark Sun, was the yellow team's base on our Day 7 challenge. This was the base that was voted on that we ended up fighting in that first Horde night, but interestingly enough, it was not designed to be an effective Horde base. They wanted to go with more of a concept base rather than being very meta. You can see, like many of the bases here, there are a ton of paths for the zombies to get up. It's got that 14 block drop, so zombies don't go into rage mode, but we didn't have that for the first Horde night. If the zombies fall from any of the fighting positions, they gotta cycle up one of these various paths to get back in. This base was designed for a crowd, as there are 8 separate fighting positions, and there is no controlled pathing to force them to go to one position versus another. So this is good when you've got a large number of players on, so that the zombies split between the various different places. You can also see that there's electric fences crisscrossed, and the zombies are going to have to jump across, so you're going to lose some of them as they path there. Inside that central corridor, everything is still cute with plushies, and then this gorgeous inlay done on the floor. Amazing job, Bud and Dark Sun. The Amethyst Spire by Dave and Richie was nestled into the desert mountains here. They've got mannequins across the front guarding the entrance. I really liked the alternating ramp patterns they have here in purple and black, giving that harsh industrial look. Each floor within the tower has kind of separate functions. On the lower levels, they've got the crafting area with decorations and whatnot. Above that, there's kind of a gym and recreational area. And then you've got stairs leading up to the next level where you've got some space for gardening. Additionally, when we look at the outside, you'll see a clock tower in the background that they had started to work on, but like many of these huge builds, you don't always get there. Great job, Dave and Richie. The Sanctum of Darkness, designed by Dark Sun and supported by a host of material providers, is by far the largest build I've ever seen in 7 Days to Die. Made of over 300,000 concrete blocks, this tower, inspired by Orthanc from Isengard and Barad-dûr from Mordor, pushes the limits of what the 7 Days to Die engine can even handle. It is built all the way to the skybox, and as we do these panned rotational shots around, you'll see that the game is kind of struggling to load the entire thing at one point. Beyond the incredible build here, there's a rich lore that Dark Sun put together, and I'll kind of hit a high-level summary. Deep in Navezgane's scorched forest lies a long-abandoned fortress once called the Black Jewel, now feared as the Sanctum of Darkness. Shrouded in dark magic and untouched for eons, it harbors the corrupt Orb of Calamity, source of the undead and blood moons. With the heir's return through a portal beneath the cozy sun's horizons, the forest awakens. His mission? Plunge the world into eternal darkness. The apocalypse has just begun. I'll include the full lore that Dark Sun provided me in the description below, but I am just in awe of the work that she did in this one. In the past several seasons, she just outdoes herself on each build. Here's that Orb of Calamity that we were just talking about a minute ago. And I do have to say, there's so many nooks and crannies in this that I could not cover. It was extremely hard to do justice to this massive, gorgeous build. Now, the only question I have after showing this off is, what does Dark Sun have up her sleeves next? Hey folks, I hope you enjoyed all the incredible builds from Season 14. If you want to join the next server, go check out my Discord in the description below. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers all.